Hey everybody, Joy here. This is video number 3 of a 3-part series on Fit Nice Master Top Pattern, the Joy Bernhardt method. We're done with the sew along, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take our paper pattern with all of our revisions in it after we've made our first muslin. Muslin is just another word for tryout. Beginning garment. Tryout. I can't think of a better word right now. But mine turned out super good after all the things I did to it. You know, I ended up having to take some waist darts, and that is probably because of my FBA, where I added 1 inch here and 1 inch here. And so I basically had to take it back out because I needed it up in the bust. I didn't need it down here because the pattern was plenty big enough. So, lots and lots of things you can do to get your pattern to fit your exact shape, size, and measurements. I'm so excited that Philly and I started taking classes years ago and we learned how to do it. So, cheers. Let's get started on the seaside top. Let me have a sip up. So in my last video, that just happened to be Mother's Day, several of you called yourselves my sewing children. So, to all my sewing children, let's do the seaside top. I've got it laid out. I want to tell you something really important. Get your paper, get your pencil. I'll wait. It can be a pen, it can be a marker, it can be your computer, your iPad, your iPhone. I'll wait. Get your book out. A lot of you have already gotten this book. Now, Judy's given away a free one to one of you for sewing along with me on this How to Make a Tee That Fits series. And a lot of you have already bought the book. So I'm hoping that Judy will substitute something else to give away if you've already bought the book. So if you'll look in the back of this book, she only has 2, and this is her first one. There is a, what do you call those things where it tells you everything that's in the book? There's a glossary, an appendix. And so on page 396, it says the seaside tops, there's 2 of them. The seaside top is on 179. So you go to page 179. 179. And you will find seaside top. Okay? So make a note of that, and I'm going to tell you something really important. This top is very easy to make the pattern changes for. All you're going to do is cut it down the front. That's it. It's that simple. But there's very important things you need to know when you do that. Number 1, you have to draw a whole front. And Judy Kessinger over there under Shop, Variations, Seaside Top, scroll down to a video. She shows you exactly how to do it, and it's exactly here in the picture, and it's exactly in that Seaside Top PDF that you bought from her if you have that. Okay? But you will notice this is a stripe, and the stripes go horizontal on one part of the top and they go vertical on the other part of the top. So it is very important, because I had a real problem with this. It's very important that your knit stretches in both directions. If it stretches a ton one way and hardly any the other way, put that one away. It won't work. You need one that stretches a lot both directions. And I probably went through a dozen different ones in my stash. I mean, I had it all laid out and ready to cut it out, and it dawned on my lightning fast mind, oh my God, I better make sure this stretches both ways. And it didn't. It only stretched one way. So I had to put it away. And I really like that one too. So, you have to have a knit that stretches this way and this way. This one does. The ITY knits, most of the ITY knits do. All right? So, now look at what I've got on. You saw me make this a few weeks ago. If you guys go back a few videos, you'll see all about hot patterns. And I showed how to make this. You could easily make this version out of this Fit Nice. I haven't seen Judy do this version, but you certainly could. All you do is cut it and move your stripes around in different ways. And this is a dolman sleeve. So, lots of fun. And evidently stripes are all the rage this year. So yay! So, I'm going to show you how I've changed my pattern, how I've laid it out. You don't need to watch me sew it, but I will start showing you that, and then I'll sew it together. And, oh, maybe just, you know, my mouth goes off all the time. Maybe I'll tell a story or something, who knows. I'll try not to tell an hour extra of stories like I did in video number 2. I cut a whole hour out of that, and it's still over an hour long. All right, stay with me. Now, y'all have looked at your directions, and you know that you have to take this 1/2 of a pattern, put it on your pattern ease, on the fold, cut it out, and then you will have a whole top. All right, we'll move the back and the sleeve. If you put the left front, I've called one left front and I've called one right front. Okay, if I put these together, you can see that I cut out one whole front. Then I measured over 3 inches and I cut a line. Now I have decided for me, okay, I have decided for me that I want the horizontal stripes to be on my tall shoulder. And I want the vertical stripes to be on my short shoulder. So it will make my short side look longer and my long side look shorter. What do you think? I don't know if that's how it is in the book or not, but that's how I'm doing it. So, this is my right front. This is my low shoulder. You cut it. Don't forget, write this. Got your notes? Got your notes? Write down. Add 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way up and down. Add 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way up and down to both front pieces. If you don't do that and you sew them together, they're going to be too small and the top is going to be all funky. Be sure you add that 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? So, this one's going this way. This one's going to go the other direction, like this, because it's going to be horizontal. I got this fabric from Fabric Mart Fabrics, oh, I don't know, a couple months ago. I unfortunately found several flaws in it. Little dark dots here and there. So, since you're laying this out flat and your fabric isn't folded, it's pretty easy to look and see, okay, are there any flaws? So I'm glad this is perfect. This pattern is perfect for this flawed fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this straight edge, this straight piece right here on a stripe, and I'm going to make sure it's straight. Okay? You want to make sure your stripes are straight. Even though there's not really a grain on knit, in fact, the stripes on some wovens are so off grain, you got real problems. Depends on how they put those stripes on there. Okay, so I've got that all lined up exactly on one white stripe. So, I'm going to cut this out. Then, I'm going to take the side, the other side, and I'm going to cut it out this direction. So the stripes go this way. Okay? So I've got a big flaw right here. Let me move the camera down. You can see the flaw and how I mark it. See this pin right here? This is a little safety pin. I wanted to make extra sure I didn't cut out this dark blue dot that's right there. It's right in the white stripe. And you know, my luck, that would end up right on my apex. So, when I find a flaw, when I'm folding fabric, this is what I'll do. I'll put a pin in it like that. And of course, when you're smoothing it out and everything, you'll feel it and you'll know, hey, we got a problem, Houston. Okay? So, I'm not going to be able to cut this out there. Maybe if I turn it this way, and be sure these are both right side up. If I turn it this way, I may miss the pin. So we'll do it that way. So that's got to go that way. This has to go this way. Then your back hasn't changed. Your back is the same. So you're just going to fold the fabric in half. The fabric is out flat right now. It's out flat. All the extras over there. All the fat extras over there. And this is flat, one layer. Flat, one layer for both sides of the front. The back is going on the fold. Center back is going on the fold. And I'm going to write that on here. Fold. Should already be here. Fold. Okay? So the center back's going on the fold. And when you're working with stripes like this, that's what you want. You want it to be on the fold. Now it's up to you which way you want the stripes to go on the back. The stripes can go vertical or the stripes can go horizontal. That is totally up to you. I don't know. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do it. I have to think of the shape of my back. If I do the horizontal lines, maybe it would show the curves and the sway more. I don't know. I don't know. That'll be a surprise to us all, okay? Let's have a surprise seaside top. All right, I'm going to cut this out. Remember that the sleeve, you have to cut 2 sleeves. And look, I haven't marked this one on the fold either. It's important because I cut this out new for my new sleeve. Fold. Cut 2. Okay? That's because this is my smaller sleeve, because the sleeve on the first top was way too big for me at the bottom. It's fine at the top. I didn't change the top, but I made the bottom narrower. Okay? So, 2 of these on the fold, 1 back on the fold, 1 left front on flat fabric, 1 right front on flat fabric. So, when I come back, I'll be at the sewing machine putting this baby together. Let me give you a little tip that I just invented myself, okay? Just my tip for me. You can use it if you want to. Now, we are doing the side of the top where the stripes are horizontal. I want to make, now there's no straight grain here for me to line this up on, because I've just got the fabric just spread out here flat, and I've got the selvage, but the stripes are the stripes and the stripes are where they are. And I want to make sure the stripes are going across me straight. So I'm taking my ruler and I'm lining it up with the straight center. It's not the center anymore, but with the line that goes right here. I know that's straight because I cut it straight. I'm lining that straight line up with my ruler, and then I'm making sure that the cross lines on my ruler are perfect on the stripes. So I know the stripes are going to be straight and not going downhill. Now if you want them to go downhill, hey, yeah, turn it the other way and make them go downhill, but then you'd want a 45-degree mark on your ruler. And there is one, I'm sure, right here. 45-degree mark. So I could put the 45-degree mark here on the straight edge of my paper pattern, and then I would line this up with the stripes. Then the stripes would be diagonal. I might do that version next. We'll see. Make sure you're cutting it out right side up, my friends. The reason I put it like that is there's a flaw up here, and I'm trying to cut around the flaw. I'm going to finish cutting this out, and then a whole bunch of you have asked me, do you use your mannequins? I want to show you what I do with my mannequin called Pinky. So this is what I use Pinky for. Pinky is me wrapped in pink tape. Why I use pink tape, I do not know. I wish I'd used beige. But she is not exactly me anymore because the cotton inside has settled and the back is weird at the neck, and I've got a bra on her, and I actually had to stuff the bra with a bunch of stuff because the cotton inside had compressed so much. So what I want to determine using Pinky is, do I want my sleeves going this way, or do I want my sleeves going that way, or do I want to cut my sleeves on the diagonal? And what is it going to look like with this up here? I'm going to fold this in and layer it over that so I can see what the top's really going to look like. I'm going to pin this at the bottom, and then I'm going to pull this over here under the arm where it's going to go. It won't be right until I sew it, obviously. And that's just going to hang down funny. Let's do one more pin. You know what I should do is take it off and pin it together and then put it on her. But I'm just trying to see if I like the stripes this way, okay? How does that look? That doesn't look that great. So, let me see. What do y'all see? It's kind of strange. I think it's a little bit strange. I don't know about the sleeves. You know what my determining factor on the sleeves is going to be? It's going to be the back. My determining factor on the sleeves is going to be the back. Do I like the sleeves going this way on the back, or do I like the sleeves going this way on the back? See, I made the stripes on the back go up and down. This is pinned all crazy, so I'm not that lopsided. So which way do I like the stripes on the back? I don't think it matters, but I think they both need to be the same. Since there's no difference in the back, side to side, I think the sleeves need to both be the same. That may be why Judy did it that way. So it doesn't matter on the back which way they go, but they need to both be the same. So I'm going to come back to the front and determine. I think I'm going to do them this way. Stripes going up and down. So I will cut this sleeve out again, okay? So, do I use my mannequins? Yes. This is basically what I use them for, okay? Is to see if I like what I'm getting ready to do with my material. I decided that I'm going to put my back on the diagonal. Just because I just want to show you guys how easily you can do things different. So what I'm going to do, I took the back, I put it on my pattern ease. Pattern ease is on the roll, folded in half, so I put the center back on the fold of the pattern ease, and so now I have a whole back. I haven't written on it yet, but I will. And I marked center back because I want to place this on the diagonal, so I have to have a straight grain line on my paper pattern. So I'm going to turn this, make sure there's no boo-boos in my fabric here. And I always buy 2 yards of fabric. And I never have a problem getting a pattern out of it. Okay, so this is sort of diagonal, but I'm going to get my ruler. Hold on. I'm going to get my ruler. Rulers have diagonal lines on them, you know. And so find the 45. My 45 is right here. There's a little square right here, and it says 45. So I'm going to put that little line right there on that black line I drew. I'm going to put it on that black line, and then I'm going to make sure that the horizontal lines on this ruler are straight with that white stripe, and they aren't. They're way off. So I'm going to turn it some more. Put that diagonal line. Now remember, there's several diagonal lines, so be sure you put the right one. There's a 60, there's a 45, and there's a 30 on this one. Alright, let's see how straight our line is now. Hey, I've got it perfect now. Let me get the camera up close and I'll show you. This is the 45. It's lined up with the black center back line that I drew. And the straight line going across this way is perfectly straight with the white stripes. See? Now, does it have to be 45 degrees diagonal? Heck no, heck no. I could have just guessed and put it on there any old way. But I'm a perfectionist, and I want it at 45 degrees. What was I saying? I had a little red lunchbox. Was red plaid. And I thought I was the biggest sister, and I was the first one to go to school. And I wasn't even sure what was going to happen when I went there. I just knew I had to go. But when I got there, and I found out that you could learn stuff. You can see I'm just cutting crazy right now. Because I don't want anything hanging. I want it to be flat and smooth and nothing hanging. So I learned about ABCs and, oops, and 2 plus 2 and 1 plus 1. And oh, my very favorite part was you got to have pencils and paper and colors. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you the hardest part of school for me. I wonder if it was for you guys. I don't know if they even do this anymore. But you used to have to learn all your multiplication up to your 9s. And so the teacher had, she'd made up this big poster on the bulletin board. And there was a moon at the top of it. And at the bottom of it was the earth. And in between was the stars and the planets and stuff. And so every child got to have a rocket ship. And the rocket ships were lined up at the bottom. And so as you learned your multiplication tables, your rocket ship moved up. Well, I think my rocket ship was probably the last one to the moon. I had the hardest time. And then I found out later, I mean like grown up later, like maybe a year ago later, that 9s were real easy because 9 times everything totals 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 8 plus 1 is 9. So I just thought, oh my gosh, why didn't somebody tell me that when I was trying to learn? My rocket ship would have gotten to the moon a whole lot faster. Oh my goodness. All right. It did finally get there. That was hard for me though, because I was always the first at everything. I was the best speller. I went on the spelling bees. And I loved arithmetic till we got to that. That was kind of hard. Yeah. Very good, very good. Now here's my sway back. You can see how this comes up in the center here. There's the diagonal back. See, and I think that'll line up cute with both of the sleeves. So diagonal back. And when you're working with knit fabric, you don't have to worry about bias and all of that stuff. There isn't any. As long as it stretches, and it does. Okay? So, I'm going to go sew all these pieces together. Alright, here you can see how I've sewn the paper. I've sewn the paper on the back. The front went through, finally. Because see, I draw the lines on there with a marker, and then I have to have the open toe foot so I can see where I'm going. So then you put the paper underneath, and also start here in the middle somewhere and go down. Start and go down, and then turn it around and start and go down. It will behave much better than if you start on an edge and try to push it through. Okay? Just a tip, don't give up. Get out your bag of tricks. Who was it? Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Da-da-da-da, his bag of tricks, and his heart will go pity-pat. Watching Felix, the wonderful cat. Something like that. Here I am back at the three-way mirrors for the first try on me. I love this. I love what I did to the back. I really do. You can probably see it in the mirror. But I'll turn around and show it to you. Now look at my hair. I've had my clothes on, off, on, off, on, off. Look at that. Let me see, because I can't see it. That is way cool. That is way cool. I like that. So I don't know, I guess we have to call this the Seaside Top Joy version since I've changed it. Yes, I'm doing the lower neck than in the first one. And the sleeves aren't in. Now if I was going to do this sleeveless, I would definitely have to raise these side armholes or take this in right here. Either way, get a smaller hole. Don't you all think this is cute? Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see everybody's seaside top. God, you know, what if you did it with a print like you had? I'll show you. I played with it a while the other day. The only problem was, and I'll show you in the next clip, and I had it all out. You'll see I had it all out on the bed, and I was so excited, and that's what I was going to do. But then I remembered it has to stretch both ways, and none of those did. They only stretched one way. So I had to put them all away. But it was fun to play, and I'll show it to you right here. The seaside top. We're going to make the seaside top. What are we going to make it out of? I told you I'm going to use 2 prints instead of a stripe. And so this is why you have to have a fabric stash. You have to have one. Here's part of mine back here. Most of this is knits, and I've got another bookcase over there and another one in the other room. They're all over the place, as most of you know who've been following me for a long time. So I just went through my bookcases and I pulled out a print, then I tried to find something to go with it. So let me show you what I'm thinking about. At first I thought these were the same print, but they aren't the same print. But they're both black and white, and I found this. Now these have to be the same kinds of fabrics, okay? Number one, I need to make sure they're knits. I bet that's a woven. That's a woven. So right away that one's out. So that narrowed that down. This is an ITY knit, and this is an ITY knit, the same weight. So this is one of my maybes for my seaside top. See? 1/2 would be polka dots and 1/2 would be a print. So that was one idea. This was another idea. This is a heavier knit. This is more like a double knit. It would still be alright, but I don't think I look that good in light blue. But the shirt might be cute enough that nobody will look at me, they'll look at my shirt. Now this one I think is fun, 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 fun. What do y'all think? I think it's lots of fun to do a seaside top with. I really like it. I think that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite. Now here's another one that I came up with. This is a print. Now my other one was mostly black with white print. This is mostly white with the black print, and then I thought this would go with it. I really like that too. This is another nice one, but I don't think the colors are very spring-like. And I have so much pink and blue and black already in my closet, but this would look good together, I think. Okay, so this is how we play with our fabric stash. We're going to use Judy's method this time, Judy Kessinger. She does it a little bit different. And her method is called Chanel Trim, C-H-A-N-E-L, Chanel Trim. And it starts on page 12 of her big book, page 12. So we're going to do it her way. She says don't cut on the bias, although you certainly can cut on the bias because then it will give you a bias stripe up here. The stripe stretches, and there's not really a bias in a knit. The stretch just goes every which way in most knits that I know about. Okay, now remember you've got to roll toward the 1. So we're going to start on 0. She does it out here at the very edge. So turn, 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 turn. So I come up with 11. 11 inches exactly. And 11 and 11 is 22. We are going to make our strip 22 inches, and then she says cut a strip on the stretch 1 inch smaller than neck measurement. See, so she just subtracts 1 inch. So -1 equals 21 inches. Then she says to take a 1/2 inch seam. So that's minus another inch. And so that would make it 20 inches. So you would actually end up with 2 inches smaller than you started with. Since I'm working with the stripe, I need to determine if I want my stripes to go one stripe all the way around long ways, or do I want my stripes to go up and down, or do I want my stripes to go diagonal. So I'm going to take my neck, and I'm just going to lay it up here, and I'm just going to play. So see, here's kind of what it would look like if they were straight up and down. So let's turn it the other way. And let's play like it's going to go around our neck one long stripe. And let's put our neckline down on that. See if we like it. Let's do it sideways. Let's see if we like that. I do like that. You know why I like that? Well, there is that section over here that's like that. Actually, there's no place on the blouse where there's a stripe going straight around that way. So I think I'm going to make my stripe going straight around, and then I'll have a stripe going a different direction, and I'll end up with stripes in 4 different directions on my blouse. All right, this is the Fit Nice System Chanel trim neckline. The measurements did not work for me. I think if I had measured it on the seam line instead of the outside edge, I think it would have worked much better. I got it to work. But again, I would have preferred that the 1/2 inch was cut off. And you could cut the 1/2 inch off to start with, so it ends up a 1/2 inch lower. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this off now. I want you to see it and how I did it. And it looks really nice. Joy method. I prefer that way to this way, where you take the whole thing and you fold it completely to the inside. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to cut this neckline off, lower it, fold the binding to the inside. That's what I'm going to do next. I've shown you my way of finishing the neckline many, many times. If you go to Blueprint and look up knit classes, sewing with knits, oh my goodness, lots of really, really good teachers have done really, really good videos and good samples that you can look at. That's how I learned it. So this is how I'm doing it. I measured 1/4 inch around my neckline. 1/4 inch down all the way around the neckline because I'm sewing a 1/4 inch seam because I had to cut that other neck off and I don't want it clear down to my belly button, for heaven's sakes. I have sewn this on right sides together. I'm going to iron everything up. Everything's going to get ironed up. Then I'm going to understitch this. I don't always understitch it, but I'm going to understitch this. I'm going to understitch this, which means you just sew. You sew this seam. You sew this seam to the rest of this strip. You put it in your sewing machine and you sew. And you sew and you sew. You're going to sew right here. Right there. Okay? So here I have my strip sewn on. I'm going to press it up. I'm going to understitch it. Then I'm turning it all the way inside. See, that's the difference. All the way inside. There's not going to be that band up at the top like there was with the Fit Nice way. There's nothing wrong with the Fit Nice way. Nothing wrong, nothing wrong. You decide what one you like. You can see my way now. Okay? Showed you the Chanel trim where it wraps around and stands up. And you end up with a band around the top. Mine, there is no band, and I like it that way because it doesn't interrupt. Some people say, oh, I need to stop the eye. Well, I don't want the eye to stop on mine. I want it to keep going. I don't want them to look at my shirt and get stuck here, and they can't get up to my head because their eye stopped. Oh, I'm getting giddy. It's almost 5. Now, I could have made this. It doesn't take over 30 minutes to make this thing, you guys. The only thing that's taken me so long is I keep changing my mind on how I want to do it. You know, I changed the back, and I cut off 3 inches on the bottom, and I just decided I didn't like the Chanel trim neckline, so I changed the neckline. And so it's fussy and fiddly doing necklines. But this way, the way I measured it, and the way I cut, the length of it was much much easier to deal with and put on, and it still lays very flat against me. I just came out to the three-way mirrors and I noticed a glaring issue. Can you see the glaring issue? Let me turn. Now, why do I have this issue in this top and I didn't in the first one? I have no idea in the world. Do you like that answer? But look at how this comes down straight, and then all of a sudden it goes over that way. And look at how these lines come down straight. They come down straight, and then all of a sudden they go over that way. And look how, I think, let me look. Yes, look how it's longer in the back. Look at the side seam and how it's coming. The side seam's coming forward. It's longer in the back than in the front. Now, this means, number one, I probably need a bigger bust dart in it. Full bust adjustment in it. Didn't notice it in the other one. It also means I need a bigger sway back. Watch this. Watch this when I pull the sway, my back up. Okay, so now when I pull that sway back up, well, I just can't imagine I need that much sway back. Could be the fabric. Every fabric's different. I don't make stripes a lot because stripes really emphasize your issues. But you can see when I pull that sway back up in the back, it straightens out the side seam. It straightens out my stripes. I will get a yardstick and I will have Jerry measure from the floor up to the bottom of the blouse in the back. I will have Jerry measure from the floor up to the bottom of the blouse in the front and on each side. And then he can tell me it's a 1/2 inch too long in the back or however much it is, and then I'll know how much I need to change my pattern and how different I need to make the hem. I'll correct the length issue in the hem in this one. My top came out shorter in the front than the back. This happens to me a lot. So this is what I do to fix it. I get him, my measure man, and I give him this big long metal ruler, and we start at the shortest part, which is in the front. Just
I got it.
Pick a number, any number.
I got it.
Now we're going to turn me to the back, and he's going to put a mark at however high the front is. The back is going to be that high too. How far off is it? About 1 inch?
1.25 inches.
1.25 inches off. Isn't that something? All right. Thank you, dear. You are dismissed.
I'm fired?
No, definitely not. But you have to kiss the cook.
The cook? Tell them about the seamstress.
Oh, I hate the name for people who sew. It's called Sleeveless. It sounds like a sewer cleaner.
Seamstress.
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 No, you're not allowed to be called a seamstress because seamstress are people that sew for a business for other people.
Oh, I see.
Who makes these rules? I don't know. All right, I want to show you. After what Jerry did, I cut it off, and now it's even. It's even. Then I've also decided I'm going to make this one sleeveless so I can show you how to finish a sleeveless armhole. So I'm going to have to take it in here on the sides. You can see I've got a pin there. I have to take it in on the sides. That's what Judy says to do. Take the sides in and make them smaller. I'm going to hem it up. I'm going to put the sleeves, do the sleeveless version, and then I'll do a few clips of me doing the sleeveless finish, okay? I just want to show you this real quick, exactly how I took it in under the arm. I started up here at a 1/2 inch, and then I just tapered it down here. Started up here at a 1/2 inch and tapered it down here. Now, be very, 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 very sure you try it back on before you cut this off and you keep going. You do not want this to pull across your back and across your front. So just for insurance and to be sure that we're not, maybe I should have come in and stopped right here. Maybe I should have just come that far. Maybe I should have come this far. So just to be sure, and because Jerry wasn't here to pin it for me, and you see this is folded in half, and so you're looking at both armholes here, and what I did. I'm going to use this satiny seam binding that I ordered online. I ordered it online a year ago, maybe more. I'll put a link below, of course. Okay. This is bias tape. It doesn't stretch at all. So I don't know why it's called bias. Maybe a hair. Hardly stretches at all. And I'm going to put it in the armhole because I don't want the armhole to stretch. I can get this on easily with a non-stretch armhole. So what you do is you cut off, I told you now, I learned this from Karina over at Lifting Pins and Needles. So I'm going to cut off one of these 1/4 inch pieces because this is too wide. We're going to line up this flat edge to the armhole. We are going to sew 1/2 inch, then we're going to trim it, then we're going to turn this the whole way to the inside, and then we're going to top stitch it. Some of you will remember this little tool that I've showed you before. This is a cutting mat. It's a little bitty cutting mat, and when you're cutting small areas like inside an armhole, put this in there so you don't cut through 2 layers. You just want to cut 1 layer. So you can see I've got the bias tape sewn on. I had to take more like a 3/8 inch seam allowance, or it would have sewn this little flap down. All right, so there I've trimmed it to an 1/8 inch. And now when you turn it, it covers really, really good, and you can see I'm going to have a very narrow strip of bias tape inside. Nothing on the outside, narrow strip of satin bias tape on the inside, satin-like. It's not satin, it's probably polyester. Then I will come back and I will top stitch this down right here on the edge. Let me show you just real quick what we got going on here. We've sewn the bias tape on, right sides together with the fold down at the bottom. We've trimmed. Now I trimmed the second armhole just with a sharp pair of little scissors, and I just cut it freehand and it worked just fine. If you feel safe that you can cut evenly, just use a pair of scissors. All right, so that's the inside. This is the outside. We're going to take this tape, we're going to fold it, push it up. We're just going to leave the inside flat, and we're going to turn inside's flat, smoothing it out. Now this is a knit next to a woven. It's a bias tape, but it's not very stretchy. Okay, so we're going to turn it to the inside so none of the white shows. You don't want it like that unless you're doing a piping. You want it all the way to the inside so only the blue shows. And then on the inside, here it is, turn it, smooth it, put a pin. Tiny bite. Tiny bites stay put. So now I'm going to show you the other side because it's done. Go get on your sewing machine. Get the foot that you like the best to do this with. I just used the regular foot. And I lined it up with the very, very edge here. Then I moved my needle over 3 places toward this edge. I moved it that way. 1, 2, 3, that way. And then I sewed. First I put it on this side just to check the needle and where I wanted the needle. I started in here. I decided, okay, the needle will be good at that position. Then I turned it over and I sewed it from the front all the way around. And it's just a lovely, lovely armhole. Don't you think? Here it is, my sewing friends, all finished. The variation called Seaside Top in the Fit Nice system by Judy Kessinger. This is my first version. A lot of you bought the pattern. Super, super easy to do. You can see how I've lowered the neck. Now, I had it on in the closet this morning, And I asked Jerry, I said, well, how do you like my top? This is what I'm doing on YouTube now. And he said, he walked over to me, he said, well, it needs something here, Joy. And he tucked this, and he tucked this. I tell you, the man is learning by osmosis in bed at night. Yes, it wants a bigger bust dart. Now, I did a 1-inch FBA. I probably should have done a 1.5. Plus, I did the dartless FBA. When you put a real dart in, a sewn dart in, it's always better. But when you're sewing knits, and especially with stripes, you don't want sewn in darts because it just screams, look over here, I'm a dart, because everything's crooked. See, because if I took a dart here, it would change the stripes and make them diagonal. And if I took a dart over here, it would cross over, see? And so it wouldn't look good, especially in a stripe. So, what you have to do is release it into the bottom and then take the extra off the sides. But I like it so much. I like it so very much. I like the sleeves. Judy's way of taking it in on the sides up here to narrow the armhole works great. That way worked very, very good. My seam binding that I showed you, that method, works very, very good. And it makes the armhole stable so it doesn't stretch anymore. You don't need it to stretch. It's plenty big. So, now I'm getting ready to make another style. You want to see it too? Don't hang up yet. Well, this tutorial is finally coming to an end. I'm sure you're as glad as I am. I'm sorry they're so long. But I wanted to tell you to be careful. Be careful. Because this system is kind of addictive. Once you get your original pattern, the first one that you make, to fit you well, you just can't stop because there's so many styles in this book. It's so much fun. So I wanted to show you. I went ahead and made a couple more for you. Now the one I have on is my least favorite. I don't like it. I'm not happy with it. Because the green actually matches perfect. I know that you're looking at it and you're thinking, why'd you pick that green? It doesn't even match. It's not that it doesn't match, because it does the color, but it's a crepe and it's a different texture than this knit. They're both knits, but I needed to use a green double knit or Ponte or cotton knit or ITY. This is just a strange, I don't know. I'm just not happy with it. And I'm not happy with you draw your own diagonal for this pattern, and I feel like it's too high. I feel like it should be more like, let me see if I can make it go down. Let me put this book down. Oh, I'm breaking my finger. Let me see if I can make it go down more. Yeah. See, like if it was more this way. If I had drawn it like in the middle of my chest right here, brought it lower, and then down. I think I would have liked it better because there's not enough of it, in my opinion. In my opinion, okay? But this style is called the crossover. It is on page 132 in her book, the crossover top. And she's done it 2 different ways. She's done it with ruffles. And then she's done one with some little grommets in it. But I found her ruffle explanations to be very sparse. I did not understand them. She said to cut 2 ruffles, one 3.5, one 4.5. And then I asked her what the measurements were for the 4.5 because she only gave them for the 3.5. And she said, oh, just cut them both the same. So I'm highly confused. So this is my least favorite, not in the style. I really like the style, but I'm not happy with the way I drew the curve. And I'm not happy with the choice of fabric. So you want to see the next one? Hold on. All right, this one isn't really next. This one's really first. I made 5 tops, so this was number 1. This was using the pattern as it is. And it started out with a real high neckline, remember? And I cut it down. So this was actually number 1. And I love it. Love the fabric. Love the top. We'll make lots more of them. Oh, it's got waist darts in it, and I really like that too. And I had to put the waist darts because I put the FBA in, and that added 1 inch to each side, remember? But I love the way it turned out. I think this one is my favorite. I'll get you number 3, hold on. Now this isn't number 3, this is actually number 2. This is the seaside top. Seaside top is in the book. You all were able to buy the pattern, not the pattern, but the variation. The variations just show you how to change her one pattern. There's just one pattern, but then you can buy the different variations for that pattern. So let me see if I can tell you where seaside top is. It is on page 179. Seaside top. I like this one very much also, and I wear it with white pants when I'm not wearing it with these pants that go with something else. All right, how many tops have I shown you? I've shown you 3. Hold on, I got number 4 coming up. All righty. I took a walk on the wild side for this one. I have never ever liked dolman sleeves because they're so big for me and there's so much extra under here. Now you actually could sew the seam in more and narrow that out, but I actually love it. I love it. I love it, number 1, because everybody knows dolman sleeves look like this. I don't care if it's the richest movie star on earth, they're wearing a dolman sleeve, it's going to have extra stuff. So let me see if I can tell you where that is. Page 137, dolman sleeves. Easy, easy, easy to sew. Majorly fun to embroider, because the top you cut out as one piece. The whole thing is just solid and you cut out one piece and then it's very easy to embroider. Actually, you could embroider it and then cut it out. But I had more fun embroidering it. Now it's not hemmed yet. The sleeves will be hemmed up 1 inch and the bottom will be hemmed up 1 inch. But I ran out of time, you guys. It says material girl, and then it's got 4 pieces of material and they're going to ravel. The edges are all going to ravel on this fabric. But fun, fun, fun. Fun, fun, fun. Golly, would this ever be easy to make pajamas with? Not pajamas, but long t-shirt. I wear long t-shirts as my pajamas. I can't even think what the proper name is. A dress, a gown. A gown! Yeah, to like, you know, a couple inches above the knees, just lengthen it. Oh my gosh. I can have one for Monday and one for Tuesday and one for Wednesday. Let me go get the next one. This is last but not least, and it is my second favorite, I guess I must say. The dolman sleeve again. This one is completely done. Sleeves are hemmed, bottom is hemmed. This style is in the book. Here it is. This one's on page 144 and it's called half and half. And I used the dolman style for it. Down here she shows how to do it with the dolman. Half and half. It's really cute with a pocket. And the way to draw the dolman is on the master top pattern. You turn the paper over and the dolman sleeve is on the back. Okay? So this one's called half and half. She had a pocket over here and I think the back was just solid on hers. But I made mine copy the front. I really love it. So this is the exact same pattern pieces as the blue one that said Material Girl. But look at how better it looks once it's hemmed up. And it's still the same fullness and everything, but it just, on this version, it just doesn't seem to look as full and as baggy for some reason. Okay, that's all 5 tops. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed making it for you. If you have any questions, please just ask a question in the comments below. And when I get time, I'm going to take a break today and tomorrow for the rest of today and tomorrow, but I will get to all your comments and I will answer your questions. Okay? Just give me a day off, all right? And I'll be back soon. Bye for now.